are you?
Love you too. Good morning and welcome to my podcast. It's Monday, July 29th, and I hope everybody is staying nice and cool because I know most of you are hot. This temperature we have across the country is still bothering a lot of people. It's amazing. But you've come to the right place. You've come to the right place. It's I'm Bob Pace, your host, and we here are fighting CPS and saving our children. Saving our children. It's very important. You save our children. Now, I'd like to go over how you can interact with this podcast. One way is just by being in the room. You found me on on Facebook, and I'm broadcast on YouTube. I'm using the StreamYard application. I broadcast twice a day. I'm on at 10 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time for an hour, except on Sunday. On evenings, I'm on at 7 o'clock. Oh, by the way, the one on Sunday, I'm on 2 hours earlier at 8 o'clock. So Sunday it's 8. Every other day it's 10 o'clock. And I'm on the evening at 7 o'clock. That is p.m. Pacific Standard Time every day. So 2 shows a day, 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. Those are my show times. And I'm really happy that you're in my room. You don't have to do anything but listen, and hopefully there's some things that can help you. I'm a family man. I have 6 children. 3 are all grown up, and 3 are still young. They're now slowly becoming older. And I, too, was in the hands of CPS. I, too, was, what can you say? My children were trafficking and they were stolen and alienated from us parents. So I can relate to what all of you are going through. Now, besides being in the room, you can also text in messages. And I ask when you text in a message that you pertain it to CPS, the Child Protection System. That is the branch of government, the United States, that is supposed to protect your children from neglect and abuse and to do family reunification, because it's been proven that the best parents are the biological parents. So all attempts should be made by the Child Protection System to bring the family back together, family reunification, not adoption or foster care or for money. You'll find that CPS, it's an $80 billion business a year. And that's a lot of money. With my kids in Orange County, California, the state was paying them, the county agency down there was paying them $20,000 per child. 3 children is $60,000. That's a lot of money if you think about it. And that's what they do. They have incentives and bonuses they give the social workers. So type your comments about your CPS question. Please show your name, city, state, or country. And yes, there are countries that come in this room that found us that talk about their CPS. They're more than welcome. We've had countries from as far away as Bangladesh and India. Then in the continent of Africa, we've had South Africa, a province there. We've had Mozambique, which is south of Somalia, across from Madagascar. And then we've had Rwanda, which is in Central East Africa, near the Lake of Victoria. And then we've had in the far north, along the coast, Liberia. A gentleman named Archie's come in several times and talked about his program with scouting. He does a lot of scouting. And if some of you don't know what scouting is, it's where the Boy Scouts have now incorporated girls in the Boy Scouts. They call their organization the Scouts. They don't call it the Boy Scouts anymore. And so I want to welcome Tori Johnson for coming in the room, Tori. You're from Utah, and how do I fight against the safety plan? Well, it depends on what the safety plan is doing. If the safety plan is putting your children with next of kin, that's a good plan. You want to make sure they do that instead of foster care. Now, CPS has made a safety plan with my girl and has been trying to tell her I can't bring around my kid or her. Well, it depends on what the allegations are, um, Tori. It depends on the allegations. Um, how many children does this involve? What are their ages and their sex? And then what were the allegations against you or your girl? Are you guys a married couple, a boyfriend girlfriend? Are you partners? So I'm trying to understand your case there, Tori. Now, further on, um, the countries I was talking about was Africa, and then we moved to Europe. I've had England, Scotland, Wales. That's the United Kingdom, and then I've had Denmark and Sweden. Then in North America, I've had Canada, both sides of Canada, the east side and the west side. I've had all the 50 states, include Washington, D.C., and then Mexico. Mexico is typed in. Actually, they called in because they're trying to locate their child in Louisiana. And then I have from the uh, South Pacific, the land down yonder, I have Australia. So those are the countries that have been participating in comments. Now, it's very important you're complete with your CPS case. It's important to tell me what your family makeup is. Is it a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife? Are you lovers? Are you just a partnership? What is your relationship? Is the mother and father still involved? Are you a single parent? Are there multiple fathers or mothers of the children? What is your family makeup? The ages of children, the sex of children. Then I want to know then what were you accused of? Abuse or negligence? And then what was the details of the abuse or negligence? And then I want to know how your kids were taken. Did you surrender them? Did they take the kids with a court order? Did they demand your children? Did you drive down to the CPS office and surrender your children? How did they come into your home? Did you let them in your home? Those kinds of things. And then after that, I like to know um, where you're at on your case so I can help you. So please, the comments are very important to me. I care about every individual one of you. I want to help. I'm not a professional attorney. Just a loving father and a husband of 32 years that have been trying to fight CPS since 2010. And my case didn't happen to 2015. It was over by 2017. But I still have the ripple effects of what CPS did. They took my home, they took my daughter, um, and they ruined my credit, and they bankrupt me. That's what the CPS did for me. I did get my two sons back. I had three children taken at the moment. My older children were away living elsewhere, so I'm glad that they weren't touched by all this episode. Okay, Tori says it involves one kid that is like 1 month old, and the allegations I had, like a mental health crisis episode, and they're trying to say I'm unstable. Okay, you be careful. That's an easy way for the CPS to prey on you. If they make you unstable, they'll terminate your parental rights. Their goal is not family reunification. A case plan better have family reunification. Don't sign the case plan. Have your girl don't sign the case plan. You got to be careful because you don't want to sign something that you don't agree on. So the case plan has to include the unification of the family, and it has to include where your child's at. Is your child with a family member, I hope, not with a foster care? That's wrong. That's illegal. They don't care about your civil rights or your constitution. Walk all over you. And I can tell you solutions of how to fight back, Tori. I can tell you how to fight back. Now, another way to interact with this room is to become a guest on my show. And to be scheduled as a guest, all you have to do is email my show producer. Her name is Grace. She works behind the scenes. She's on my show every day. She's a hard worker, and she helps me keep in line, helps my show if there's glitches in it. She's very helpful there, and I want to thank Grace for all your help. You're really a remarkable person. Thank you. Now, to email her, all you do is put my show times. I've already told you on twice a day, 7 days a week. So all you have to do is say the Sunday morning show or the Wednesday evening show, and she'll put you on as a guest. We had a guest just a couple days ago, and her email is grace@vincentwdavis.com. Grace@vincentwdavis.com. And so email her. She'll give you the link to StreamYard, get you on, then tell you how that work as a guest, things like no eating or smoking, those kinds of things, and how to adjust your lighting and stuff. So please email grace@vincentwdavis.com. Now, the fourth way to interact with this podcast is my phone number. My office phone number is 626-698-0990. That's 626-698-0990. I'll leave the number up. It's on the screen, but that's the way to get a hold of me. And it goes to my phone. I use Vonage, is the phone program I use. So I'm on Vonage. I can only do one phone call at a time. So if you call in, wait your turn and you can get a chance to call in. So that's my phone number, and I look forward to it there. Now, Tori further says it involves, the police really broke into my home to try to do the welfare check. Yeah. Police are not allowed in your home. There's only several reasons they can be. 3 reasons. 1, you gave permission to have the police entered, which you don't have to. You don't have to answer the front door. You can go hide in the closet and be safe. Police are crazy. They shoot people all the time. Recently, we've had a woman shot 3 times in the face by cops. He was arrested that night for first-degree murder, and he was fired. We had another cop shoot a black boy in Gainesville, Florida. He shot him 5 times in the chest. Boy didn't stand a chance. He died while talking to his girlfriend on FaceTime. And so I'm telling you is that you don't want to open the door to the police or the social workers. That's my rule number 3. Do not open it. It's bad news. They will, they are bad. They shoot. They don't know how to wound somebody. All they knew is how to shoot somebody dead. And they're not very people friendly. And I'm telling you, these incidents happen all the time. These are recent ones, but over the years, there have been horrific events of people being shot opening the door. And so there's also been policemen standing in front of a door being shot to death. You don't want to deal, the door situation is simple. You don't answer the door. You hide in the closet. If you're a policeman, you stand to the side of the door at the door jamb, but not in front. You could be shot just as much as you shoot somebody else. So they broke into your home, so I assume you let them in. Now, you could have not answered the door or said anything. You're not required to talk to them. There's only 2 other ways they can come in your home. 1, besides you letting them in. 2, if there's domestic violence taking place or physical alterations or a gun battle or knives, anybody that's getting hurt, any violence or anything, they can enter the home, and so can the social workers. So if that's not taking place, the 3rd way is they need a court order. It is a court order is a order from the judge, signed by the judge, that specifically says what they can do. Morning, Faye. So glad you joined me. I'm glad you're on. I haven't had a chance to really notify the regular people, but you must have got the notification, so maybe it's working this morning. We have Tori Johnson from Utah. Faye is from Kentucky, Richmond, Kentucky. She's a single mom trying to get custody of her child. She lost her young daughter, at an early age. And it's sad because her mom ended up taking her daughter, and then her daughter was done by foster care because they said that Faye was not a fit mother, which is really bad. Okay, Tori says, see, they don't have to force. If they come in and they don't have a court warrant, then they're in violation and they can be sued. The police can be sued if they're forced their way in. Now, was any domestic violence taking place? Were you and your girl fighting, arguing? Was there a physical altercation with your young child? That's the only other reason they come in. Remember, it's 3 ways. You give them permission, and you certainly don't want to look them at the window. They'll shoot you. I don't know how I can emphasize that 2 people recently have been shot to death. A 23-year-old black airman who had a beautiful life starting out, was talking to his girlfriend, was shot 5 times in the chest. That policeman, a week later, was dismissed. I don't know if he's been charged with murder or not, but that was wrong. Then another policeman got this girl and shot her in the face 3 times, this recent, within the last week. And this is all caught on live cam. So I'm emphasizing, do not talk to them through a window. Don't even answer or give them the time of day. They'll come back with a warrant, but by then you can get your attorney. You need to get an attorney. That's my rule number 1. It's very important that you get an attorney. Okay, Faye, we'll hang in there. So, Tori, I know you don't know the laws. I didn't either. I let the police into my home. I let the social workers, I talked to them. I did all the no things in my case. And I regret it because I lost my daughter. So I didn't hire an attorney right away. I tried to fight them myself. I tried to use the court-appointed attorney, which was useless because she had so many cases, like 30 or more cases. She had no time for me. And on top of that, my court-appointed attorney wouldn't let me speak in court. Only she could. So it was useless. She was not a fighter. She didn't. Well, that was good. That was good that you refused without your lawyer. But a welfare check is where they knock on the door and they worry about something. The best way is to be quiet. They won't break in on a welfare check. They won't break in. They'll stop by, but they'll come back later with a court order. They got you. All right, so they got you. And you could say, hey, look, before we go any further, I need to speak to my lawyer. That's a good timeout mode. If you're facing the police or you're facing a social worker, say, I need to take a timeout. I need to speak to my lawyer before we go any further. Unless they have a court order, they can't take your children. Just because they check on a welfare check and you let them in doesn't mean they can take the kids. A welfare check is instituted by someone that hasn't heard from somebody in a couple days. They're worried about them maybe had a bad fall, especially with elderly people. But for them to come in there, unless they have a court order, they can't take your children. And you can tell them everything's fine, but I don't know if domestic violence was taking place. I don't know if you had domestic violence. What brought them for the welfare check? Have you not returned phone calls from people? Tori? Okay. Also, besides being in the room or texting a message or being a guest or calling in, it's very important that you be respectful in this room. I want everybody to treat everybody nice. And we don't need any negative comments because people are hurting in here. Tori from Utah is talking about his case. And apparently there was a welfare check. And he said, I refuse to talk to a lawyer. How did it proceed after the welfare check? How'd they get in the home? Did they order you to open the door? Is that what it was? They order you to open the door? Whew. For all your new listeners, we have Tori from Utah describing how his children were kidnapped, and we have Faye Manning, a mother from Richmond, Kentucky, on the phone, not with me, but she said she'd be right back. So again, I want to welcome everybody in the room. You can listen, or you can text comments, or you can schedule be a guest, or call in. My phone number is open right now. I'm going to check on a couple people because maybe they didn't get the notification. So Bob Bass, welcome. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Tori Johnson. I'm messaging you on the YouTube chat thing.
Yeah, Tori, welcome. A warm welcome from Utah.
Yep, we talked a few times before. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I think I do remember. As I say, I talked to a lot of people, but I'm welcoming you back, and it sounds like they did a welfare check. And now, how did they get in the home? Did you open the door to them?
Well, I'll run you through actually the whole story because the YouTube chat thing it only allows me to text a certain amount of words.
I agree. So
I couldn't really tell like the full from the beginning, so I can catch you up. So what happened was right. So my girlfriend she worked for previous in the morning time, right? So she go to work early in the morning. So during this typical day was I got a text from my girlfriend around noontime, and her friend wanted to come over, which I've never seen her friend before because I guess it was a friend from her job at work, and she wanted to come over to see my son and this and that. I was like, okay, no problem, but can she like come a little later because I'm a little busy around the house and stuff. I was trying to get some stuff done, this and that. So I guess my girlfriend's phone died because she never replied back to me. She just only notified me that her friend was coming over. So I had like, dang. So I was like, I want to prepare for this. So a friend ended up coming over like within like an hour from I got the text from my girlfriend, and she come. I was actually on the phone call with somebody. This and that was like a important phone call, which I didn't want to let her in at the time. So she come over, banging on the door. This and that. I was like, who is it? This and that. Because I wasn't expecting someone to come this early. This and that. So she said her name. Oh, my name is Naomi. This and that. I'm Emery's friend. This and that. I said, well, hey, can you wait? Just wait real quick before I let you in. I was like, I'm on a phone call. This and that. And she just kept just banging. I was like, hey, didn't I just tell you just wait real quick? I'm gonna let you in. Just I need to finish handling some business real quick. I just don't want to let you in on what I'm talking about or discussing pretty much on the phone. Pretty much, just want to keep it a private conversation. And she's like, if you don't let me in, this and that. I ended up just opening the door, this and that. I was on the phone call with somebody, this and that, and I had to put them on pause real quick to handle this situation. So I ended up letting her in, this and that. I let her in my place. I ended up opening the door pretty much to acknowledge her. I said, look, I told you like 3 times on the phone call. I said, you can wait. I said, you're just a friend, this and that. I was like, I really don't even have to let you in, this and that, because you're just a friend. I don't even really know you pretty much. So she took that situation and she escalated to a whole nother level, this and that. And she wanted to ask me, where's my girlfriend? I was like, you guys got contact with each other. I was like, you should know where she is. I don't have to tell you where she is. I mean, wasn't you just texting her? Like, that's how you found my address, through her, right? Yeah, it doesn't matter. I need to know where my friends at, this and that. And also, I need to check on the baby. I said, no, you don't need to check on nobody. I was like, I'm not even letting you in at this point since you want to be rude and loud. I was like this one was just so loud. It was just early in the morning. It's too early for me for all that loudness and just banging on my door.
What time of the day was it?
The neighbors up.
What time of the day was it?
Say what again?
What time of the day was it?
This is about like 9.
Okay.
9 in the morning. Yeah.
All right.
So early. So yeah, this is about 9 in the morning. She banged and kept ringing my doorbell, this and that. Just pretty much not being respectable, pretty much, to me or other people, pretty much. But you just banging. I stay in an apartment, pretty much. So yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody around me can hear you banging, pretty much on the door. So, like I said, she didn't stop banging, this and that. That's when I paused my phone conversation. I opened the door, and I presented her. I said, look, I stopped all the banging, this and that. Which she didn't stop banging. She just kept banging. So when I just opened the door, this and that, I said, look, you're being very disrespectful. It's too early in the morning for you doing this. And look, I didn't really ask for you to even come this early. I told my girl to come, have you come around noontime. But I guess her phone died pretty much, and she didn't get my other message pretty much. So, like I say, that conversation took a whole turn, this and that, because she's like, you don't let me in, this and that, and let me check on the baby, this and that, and tell me where Emery is at. That's my girl, Emery. And if you don't do that, I'm gonna call the police. I said, well, you have the address. I was like, you call as much as you want because I'm not letting you in. I was like, you disrespecting me. I definitely tell my girl how you've been acting pretty much. Just kept banging on the door when I told you to wait, this and that. So I was like, I'm not gonna let you in. And I was like, go ahead, you call her right now. I was like, I ain't gonna let them in either, pretty much. So about 5 minutes later, police showed up. I guess they ended up talking to her, and that information, whatever she told them, I don't even know what she told them still to this day. But police ended up talking to her, and then they ended up coming upstairs to my apartment level and tried talking to me, but I just cracked the window. I didn't open the door for him at all. I just cracked the window just a little bit so I can verbally talk to him, like just tell him the situation. Like, look, can you have this woman removed pretty much from our place, pretty much? And it was like, no, we can't do that. This and that. It was like, we're here for.
Whoa, wait! Aren't you guys renting the apartment? You can.
What you say?
Well, slow down. Aren't you renting the place? Why can't you have the woman removed?
I know, right? That was crazy.
Well, was she disturbing the place? Was she loud and obnoxious in front of the police?
No. No. Before the police, she was loud and kept just banging on the door. And I told her specifically numerous times, like, stop.
So did she leave the apartment? Did she leave the apartment and go downstairs and call the police? Did she leave the apartment and go downstairs and call the police?
So she left. So she left my doorstep and went downstairs and called the police. And my assumption, she called for a welfare check, and she was pretty much scared. Or whoever. Like I say, I don't know what she fully said because I didn't get the report on that yet. But I know she called for a welfare check because that's what the police came to my door about, a welfare check. And that's when I said I didn't open the door for them at all. I cracked their window just a little bit. So I was like, hey, can you remove this lady, this and that? She is, she's out of control pretty much. And then me and the police, we had a conversation there, and he was later told me, like I say, he's here for a welfare check. I was like, a welfare check? What are you talking about? And he's talking about, we need to see your son, this and that. And I was like, see my son, this and that. So
you should have asked him, do you have a warrant?
Hey,
Go ahead.
You said what again?
You should have asked him, does he have a warrant?
Yeah, I didn't. I failed to do that. I was crazy.
No, I did the same thing. And I'm just trying to say, that's what the police are, intimidators. They can't do a welfare check if you're at the door and you say everything's fine. And for them to say it's a child, the lady that they talk to, if the police are that stupid they can't recognize this woman's trouble, then that police department is corrupt.
Yeah, got you. So later down the road, so the police asked me open the door pretty much. I was like, no, I'm not gonna open the door pretty much. And I didn't open the door at all. So I was like, I request for a sergeant because I was like, me and the cops, we wasn't like, I guess we wasn't seeing eye to eye. I was like, because I kept asking them, so can you remove her off property, this and that? And they kept asking me to open the door. I was like, no, remove her off property. Open the door, remove her off property. And I was like, F this pretty much. I was like, can you get your sergeant out pretty much so I can explain her the whole entire situation is that. So the sergeant ended up coming out a few moments later, this and that, to assess the situation. So I guess she talked to the woman downstairs, and then she came up to talk to me from the crack of the window, pretty much. And I told her the same situation, pretty much. And she's just dumb. She's as dumb as the rest of the cops, pretty much. And they kept asking me to see my son. I was like, I showed them my son, pretty much, that he was okay, pretty much, from the window where they couldn't get in. I showed them from the window, like the crack of the window. So I opened up the blinds pretty much so they can see, but they couldn't physically touch my son, pretty much. Like I say, I didn't allow them to come in.
Right. So
then moments later, once I showed them my son, I ended up putting my son back in his little baby crib, pretty much. I went back to the window. I was trying to get in contact with my lawyer, but I guess he was busy at the time. I actually got a real regular lawyer for this one, not a public defender. He's a real lawyer, but right. I guess he was busy at the time. Like he couldn't speak, so because he kept saying, when I texted him, he said, "One moment." I was texting him the whole situation. So I went back to the window, this and that, and the sergeant, now she's saying, we need to come in to do a welfare check. We need to actually see and make sure that it's...
Well, you showed him your child at the window.
Huh?
Did the child make any motion when you showed him at the window?
No. So the police, when they looked at the child, this and that, they looked at me and the child. It's like, well, it looked like the baby's safe and fine, this and that, through the window crack, like I say. Not open the door, but through the window crack. So what was they was able to see? They was like, oh, the baby looks fine, this and that. So I put the baby back, this and that. And I'm in my head, I'm expecting them. I thought they was finna leave, this and that. No, they want to actually come physically in now and do a whole welfare check throughout my whole apartment. Like I said, I don't know what this woman told them, but it was just bogus and outrageous, pretty much. Whatever.
Welfare check is strictly for older people that have fallen down, that may have hurt themselves.
What do you mean?
A welfare check is for older people that may have fallen and hurt themselves.
Got you. Yeah,
it has nothing to do with the children. It has nothing to do with the children. If you showed the child at the window, that is fine. You should still not have opened the door. But did they bust their way in, or did you open the door?
No, I'm getting to the story. Okay. So they end up, like I say, so after I showed them the baby, this and that, they end up saying that they want to come in and do a whole welfare check, this and that. I was like, no, you guys are not coming in. I'm not physically opening the door. I'm not going to open the door to allow you guys to come in, pretty much. So at that point, I kind of pretty much just kind of a little panicked and just started mumbling up under my breath. I'm like, oh my god! I was just saying a whole bunch of stuff. You know, I was just trying to keep calm, this and that, because I was just so outrageous that they couldn't remove this woman, and they insisted on keep coming in. So the cops they left for like 10 minutes to go downstairs to do whatever they want to do. They come back up within like 10, 15 minutes, back up to my unit. They say, hey, we need to come in. They gave me like 2 or 3 options. They say, hey, we either come in the easy way or the hard way. I was like, the hard way? I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, I said, you got to come in the hard way, this and that. So they end up breaking the screen window, pretty much. Not the door, but the screen window as I was talking to them. And they end up putting tasers, and one of them had a gun out, pretty much, not pointed at me, but was getting ready to buckle his gun, pretty much. I mean, I'm assuming in my head to shoot through the door. So
well, they would have killed you. You're lucky you're alive today.
Yeah. So I end up just rushed. I rushed to open the door, pretty much. I opened the door, and they end up just taking me to the ground, pretty much. And put me in handcuffs. I didn't get arrested. They put me in handcuffs. They did their perimeter around the place, and they ended up taking me to the hospital, pretty much.
Go on.
For me, mumbling under my breath, they said I was unstable.
Oh, okay. So they say you say you're not fit. They said you're unstable.
Yes, that's what the police reports. That's what they told. That's what they told when. That's what they told DCFS, because DCFS had to come out later that day, which I wasn't available to hear the conversation, because they ended up taking me to the hospital. They ended up pink sheeting me, all because I was mumbling up under my breath, and I wouldn't allow them in. And they said I've been combative the whole time they was out. Well, I wasn't complying with them. Of course, I wouldn't comply with their so-called rules, because there was no need for a welfare check, pretty much. I didn't have to let them in. So, of course, I didn't open the door for them. Of course, I was being hard. There was no reason. There wasn't no crime they committed. There was nothing. I just asked for them simply to remove this woman, and it resulted into all of this, them snatching my screen window out, and they threatened me with their tasers, and had one person that touching their gun, pretty much, like she was gonna point it and shoot me, pretty much. So I just opened the freaking door so they wouldn't shoot through the door, pretty much.
Wow.
And they end up, like I say, they end up, as soon as I opened the door, they end up grabbing me, putting me down to the ground, and freaking handcuffing me and pink sheeting me to the hospital. And that's when DCF got back involved, pretty much, with my son, pretty much, my newborn son. And I guess DCFS, they came out to assess the situation, and I guess they gave my girlfriend like a time frame to get there. Otherwise, they was gonna take the child somewhere. I don't know where that somewhere was, but they was gonna take the child. So my girlfriend, she ended up going out to back to the apartment, you know. So she ended up having to leave work early to assess the whole situation, and she had to do a safety plan. And now the safety plan, I can't be around my son or my girl. It was just outrageous.
What did they charge you with?
Who?
Well, first of all, did the police charge you with anything?
The police didn't charge me with nothing. Like I say,
okay. And what did the CPS worker?
And they pink sheeted me.
What did the social worker charge you with? Abuse or neglect?
No, they didn't charge me with. No. That. So what I was told is the police say they had concerns of me hallucinating. So pretty much I guess you could say unfit, pretty much. That's what they're trying to say.
Well, yeah,
Which
that's
I
an
wasn't
easy way for
hallucinating.
social workers to accuse somebody. They think they're licensed clinical psychiatrists, and they always want to prove that all parents are crazy. And that is the easiest way to terminate your parental rights. They want to steal that child from you.
Yeah. So my girl have I guess she got full custody right now because due to that safety plan, she can't be around me, and I can't be around my son, and have to be supervised pretty much. And she's not supervised, so we have to be a third party for me to see my own son.
Right. I know what you're doing. Crazy. Yeah, it is crazy.
But it's crazy. But the more crazy thing about it, the investigator, he don't want to tell me any information because he's trying to say I haven't established like what you call it, parental rights.
Well, you have parental rights. You have the educational and medical rights.
I've established that already. I've already established that already. They're still not giving me information.
Well, if you had an attorney, the attorney would demand the information. They can't keep it. They go to the judge and say that the child protection system is refusing to give the father any information.
Yeah, so I'm waiting on a court date right now, due to DCFS court date on this matter of hearing, because they've already requested for this child to be taken. The state.
Yeah.
Due to just that incident.
Well, they got to prove that you're mentally incompetent. Now, what you could do is get with your own medical insurance, you could get a test done on your mental health. Because they're going to try to have you take theirs. And they're not going to like the results because they'll come back negative, and they're going to sit there and say, you need to take another. I know how the SOP goes on this mental health trafficking.
Hello?
I said, I know how it goes on the mental health trafficking.
Got you. So they're trying to schedule an emergency court hearing on what happened a few weeks ago, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, well, you need to get that attorney. You said you have a paid attorney that you hired?
I did, yeah.
Okay. When you say I did, have you talked to him yet?
Yeah, I talked to him about the whole entire situation, and he's trying to actually help me on the legal side of the situation too, because I guess he have some colleagues that work on the criminal side, because it was criminally messed up on how they came in and forced their way in, pretty much, and forced me to pretty much open the door.
Yeah, they did, and that was wrong. You're right.
So he had legal, like, criminal concerns on that part, which he couldn't really.
Well, all he has to do is submit to the judge. All he has to do is submit to the judge the police report. If the police report said you're not arrested and you weren't charged with any crime, that will end that conversation. You need to present that as evidence that you're not criminally charged or did anything wrong with the police.
Okay, but they're trying to say that, not them, but the police reported to CPS that trying to say I'm mentally unstable, unfit, because me mumbling under my breath means I'm hallucinating.
Well, is that on the police report?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, you need to diffuse that by taking a test that shows you're mentally fit. And by law, you can use your test. So you contact your insurance, you ask them, I need to see a doctor that can check to see if I'm mentally fit. That you've been accused that you have a mental health problem. Then your attorney has to enter that into court as evidence. So it's really important that your attorney fight for you.
Got you.
Is any of that making sense to you,
Yeah,
Tori?
yeah,
Yeah.
that making sense to me.
Well, what you have is
It, it's just
you have a law enforcement agency that has abused their power. Are they county or are they city?
what is different?
Well, a city policeman is someone from the city you live in. A county is usually somebody that oversees the county you live
Oh,
in,
like a sheriff.
like a sheriff,
Oh no,
yes.
this city police.
Okay, that's even better because your attorney should be able to fight the city police. One, you have nothing you've been charged with. There's been allegations that you're unfit as a father, but you weren't arrested for that and you weren't cited with that. So there's no police involvement. I mean, that will be there. Now, with the Child Protection Agency, they have to prove that you're unfit and they need a mental evaluation. A mental evaluation.
Okay, but what I'm confused is right.
Okay.
They won't. They won't. See, my lawyer have already scheduled an emergency court hearing pretty much because I haven't really been able to see my son like that, in which I want to see my son. You know, I just
Right.
don't want to see my. I mean, I can not follow the safety plan. I mean, because it doesn't really pertain to me. It just pertains. It doesn't. It just pertains to my girlfriend pretty much.
Well,
She
yeah,
has to
but the
follow the
safety
safety plan.
plan, if she signed
But I
it,
don't want to get her in trouble.
but if she signed it, you guys are pretty screwed because you have to follow what CPS does.
And so when you say when you say, so you're trying to say she doesn't have to sign a safety plan, or can she like back out of safety plan? Because
Yes.
our fear is they're
Well,
gonna take the child.
she's already signed the safety plan, so she's stuck with whatever the safety plan says. If she refused to sign it, she could refuse to sign it.
So if you refuse to sign a safety plan, are they legally allowed to take the child away? Because they're saying that they're told her.
Well, not unless you have a court order. Unless you have a court order that's taken the child from her, or you gave the child to them, or she gave the child to them. Where is the child right now?
The child is with the mother.
All right, the mother should not surrender the child, but has she signed the safety plan?
She signed the safety plan that she will stay away from me.
Yeah, right. So now you're stuck. She signed the safety plan, which was a no-no. Your attorney would say the same thing. So you're stuck with whatever the safety plan says, but you can still fight it. You have to go to court and have your lawyer fight in your defense with the judge.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
So you need to have your lawyer work really hard overtime to get his case ready. He needs to submit any police reports. He needs to have you submit a evaluation, a psycho evaluation that you took. You need to submit all that to them, to the court. To the court, you need to submit all that. You also can subpoena that girl that came out to investigate because she may lie. If the attorney's good, he'll cross-examine her and get her to lie, or not to lie, but get her to tell the stuff that. Why was she there? Why was she involved? What was her role?
Oh, her role is she just wanted to.
I know that, but you need to tell the court that. You see, you need to show that to the court. And if you have your attorney cross-examine her and ask her, why were you at the apartment? And she is going to say, well, I'm worried about the child. And says, why are you worried about the child? And then, another witness like your girlfriend will be put on the stand. You may be put on the stand. But that's how the cross-examination goes.
Gotcha.
See, you submit your witnesses, you submit your people, and you submit your paperwork, all before the judge. The judge has to make a decision whether the social workers have a case against you and your girl. Who's the biological father of the daughter?
What? No, I said a son.
Okay, who's the biological father of the son?
I'm the biological father.
Okay, I just want to make sure. that you are. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have your legal rights to your son. You may not be married, but you have legal rights to your son. You want to take care of.
CPS trying to say I don't have any rights right now.
No.
I haven't even been listening.
Do you have a birth certificate? Do you have a birth certificate that shows you are the father?
I do. I have a birth certificate.
Right. You need to submit that to the court. If CPS says
that to my lawyer,
right,
he submitted it to the court.
Right. He needs to show that to the court that he is the biological father. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
See, what you're doing, it's a cat and mouse game you're doing in court. You're presenting something to show to the judge that the CPS people are wrong. You need to question their witnesses. You need to question people. I mean, why was that girl at your apartment? What was her reasons? You need the attorney needs to make that witness uncredible, and to say that, if they say there's something wrong with your mental ill, you need to show them. Do the police, are the police clinical psychologists? How do they know if someone's unfit? How do they know? They may think you're drunk, okay, and they'll take you to take a sobriety test. Did they do that with you?
No.
All right. So they're going to lose their case. You need to stack the evidence against CPS by submitting them at court at the emergency hearing. You don't want to miss that emergency hearing. You need to submit that evidence. You have a lot of evidence. You have the testimony of that strange girl. You'll have the testimony of the social worker. You can cross-examine. Your attorney has to do a lot of work. He has to do a lot of work. He needs to submit evidence. He needs to have you talk before the judge in court.
Got you.
The birth certificate shows you the presumptive father. The girl will probably back down or say some weird story, and then you can have the attorney ask her other questions that'll prove that she's lying. And then you got your loving girlfriend who could testify that you're a fit father and that you were watching your son while she was at work.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of people and a lot of evidence to pull together for that hearing. Now, how far is the hearing off right now?
We did schedule emergency hearing weeks ago, and we still haven't got an answer yet.
Okay, all right. Well,
is there any way I can push this hearing faster?
Well, in California, it's called the 388 motion, and that motion says within 30 days that the judge must have a hearing, and that's if you have new evidence or anything there. Now, in Utah, there may be a motion. Yeah, in Utah, there may be a motion. I don't know what it's called, but it's a motion to have a hearing because you have new evidence. You have new evidence, or you completed your parenting programs, you completed something. If you have new evidence, you can ask for that hearing. Maybe there's something that was overlooked at the previous hearings.
Okay, got you. And I know your show is gonna end in 6 minutes, and
right.
I can update you tonight.
Yes, you can call my evening show at 7:00 or my morning show at 10. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week, so I'm not hard to get a hold of.
Got you. Appreciate it.
Okay, hello, Christina. Welcome to my room. Christina is in the house. Another worker there. Is there any other question I can answer for you, Tori?
Um, no, not right now. I just wanted to know was it legal for them to actually do that?
Well, technically, they didn't have a court order or warrant to come in your place. And if you did get a hold of your attorney, he would probably sit there, don't answer the door, or he'd be right there to talk on your behalf. Now, Christina asked a question: what's discovery if it's different than a 388? The 388 is only in California. It may be in some other states, but I've only heard. I think Maine has a 388, and so does Oklahoma. But the 3-8 motion is forces the judge to have a hearing when you have new evidence or unusual circumstances you need to submit to the court. The judge has to schedule one within 30 days. That's what it is. I don't know if you're talking about some other thing, but in other states, it may just be a motion to have a hearing. It may be called a motion to have a hearing within 30 days. That's what you want to type in Utah, Tori, is a motion within uh, a motion to have a hearing within 30 days. Type that in Utah and see what
Give me
you
a
come
second.
up with. Yeah. So you can write that down. I'm getting slowly but surely going to have to close down the room soon. So I do want to thank all my listeners and all my people that made comments and my phone caller, Tori, who has a difficult case here with trying to get back his son that he loves so much. You got that paper and pencil, Tori?
Yeah.
Okay, what you want to do, it's a motion to schedule a hearing within 30 days with new evidence.
Okay.
And you should find something for Utah. You should start off with the city and state. You should start off CPS, city and state, and then your description of what you're looking for.
Got you.
All right? Okay, all of my listeners, I want to thank you again for being in my room. Christina has been here a long time. And I forgot where you're from, Christina, but welcome. Tori is from Utah, who's been on the phone. He's a father that loves his son. He wants his son back in his life. Faye is a mother who has a son. She's trying to get custody rights. He's a 23-year-old boy that she loves very much. She lost her daughter, her young daughter, because she had to make a choice. And the CPS was so bad in Richmond, Kentucky. It's a bad thing.
Oh man.
So she's been fighting a long time. So we just had someone come in, A7H3NA. Thank you, Bob. Good luck, everyone. Well, thank you for being in my show, the listens. All right. So I want everybody to not give up fighting. Still fight for your child. You will get your child back. It takes a long time. Be patient. Don't talk to social workers. Yes, no answers. Don't talk to police. It's yes, no answers. Don't surrender your child unless you got a court order. Don't surrender your child unless you got a court order. So God bless you all, and thank you very much for listening. This is Bob.